Okay. So yeah, I'll just have a presentation. I'll just quickly go through it, but mostly I'll be just talking. So, and also I can just open up my Word. Okay, let me just not open up now, but let us start with the presentation. Okay. So when you talk about Dynamics 365 as an ERP, so we talk about Microsoft product, and in Microsoft we have different sorts of products. So previously, what used to happen, Microsoft used to sell the products as a different ERPs. I'll come to what is an ERP, but let us just talk and understand that how Microsoft is actually shaping up this universe right now. So previously, every product was different. Right now, it is not. So wherever you go, you'll find a complete suite of package like Dynamics 365 or Office 365. All these terminologies you will hear, and those are basically in a way Microsoft is selling a complete package, and it's not only about your CRM application or an ERP application. It's a complete digital transformation aspect that we are talking about. Okay. Now coming to the ERP or CRM, what are these? So let's kind of think of a small scenario that if you want to buy grocery from your local vendors. Okay, so if you go to a local kirana shop or a local grocery shop, so what you'll find out that one or two persons, they are managing everything, right? They are actually excuse me, they are actually managing everything on the part that they are handling the suppliers, they are getting all the goods from the dealers, they are selling to you. They are managing the finances, they are also managing the inventory. Means whenever you want to buy some let's say detergent or some anything which has an expiry date, so they maintain the inventory in a way that all the products which are having the expiry, nearing the expiry, those are kept at the first row of the shelf, and which are maybe the expiry will be much more than maybe 2 3 years later, those will be kept at the last row of the shelf so that those products can get sold first. Okay, so this is a way of managing the inventory, and as I said, they are managing their finances, the sales, purchases, everything, all the operations they are managing on their own, because it's a small shop, they can do that on their own. But now consider this as a big business. So consider this as a big retail market, like maybe in, if you go, if you know, in Hyderabad there is Ratnadeep. Then if you have the garment shops like Pantaloon, Shoppers Stop, all this. So you are buying to a going to a place where you are just scanning the product and they are giving you the product. So that's a machine called POS machine, point of sale machine. But at the back end, they can tell you everything by just scanning that product. They can say that wherever the product comes from, which go down, or which warehouse the product is lying from. So all this information they have at the back of their hand, or they can just see it from the screen. And how this mechanism is working, because at the back end there is a strong, stable, robust system is working, who is giving all this information to that person who is managing the point of sale, right? And that person is actually, what it is role, his role is only selling. He is only responsible for managing the POS same machine and just sell you that product, nothing else. But the purchases, managing the inventory, finances, everything is taken care from different team. But they have an integrated system which integrates all this module, and that is why they can tell you all this information at once. So this integration of different systems or different aspects of business, what we call, rather what are the sales, what are the purchases or finances, what are inventory management, all these are taken care by ERP, or what we call as enterprise resource planning. I mean, if you know about different ERPs, so there are three leading ERPs mostly in the world. So one is SAP SAP, what we call. Second is Oracle e-business suite, and the third is Microsoft Dynamics. So previously, in the older version, Microsoft was ERPs were mostly catering to mid to large segment companies. But right now, with the advent of Dynamics 365 and with the advent of cloud, it is catering to all the big businesses. So all the big companies also, like big means big manufacturing companies, big retail companies, they can also go and opt for Dynamics 365 product. Okay, so that is a I mean, that is a change, that dynamics that has been shifted from being a mid or small segment ERP to the large segment ERP. And right now, when we say Dynamics 365 FNO, we mean that Dynamics, the older version, what we call as Axapta 2012, or what we call a AX 2012. I'll show it in the next slide. but that was the older version of the same ERP. Right now it is called D365, Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. Okay, Microsoft has another one ERP, which is a smaller scale ERP, I would say, which was called Navision, and that has been rebranded to Business Central with the cloud version. Okay, so these are the two leading ERPs from Microsoft suite, and we'll be concentrating our course solely on Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, not on the CRM, because in I mean, if you go to online, whenever you type Dynamics 365, mostly the first thing which comes up is Dynamics 365 Sales, which is a CRM product, customer relationship management product. That's a separate system altogether, product altogether. We are not concentrating our discussion on that part. We'll be only focusing our discussion on the ERP part, which is Dynamics 365 FNO. I hope this is clear. And based on this, let us go to the next slide. So I think this kind of a TV, I would say. ERP, as I said, it started in 2017, and Microsoft 2016, I guess. Yeah, Microsoft named it AX7. Yeah, it was called AX7, Axapta 7. But 2000 from 2017 onwards, they had rebranded it to Dynamics 365, and selling the product under one umbrella is always easy, because whenever you go and you say that we have Dynamics 365, because all of the capabilities related to your ERP, your CRM, your reporting capabilities from Power BI, all those things comes in. Okay, so it is not that only ERP you are concentrated. You can sell any of the products under the same umbrella. So that is a good part that Microsoft has done. Okay, now coming to the evolution. Few things that I think, let us not focus on this part, okay, this 2009 part, because that is the older version of, I mean, two versions earlier. So we're not looking into this, because I mean, honestly, I have also haven't worked on this part, but I have just seen few of the projects, because that is a older version. So mostly we are focusing on these two part, because most of the clients globally, right now Microsoft has stopped the sale of these two products. So if you go to Microsoft and say that I want Microsoft ERP, they will only sell you Dynamics 365 for operations. They will not sell any of this product. But the older clients who are still using this Dynamics 2012 version, and so they are still on market, and they are still, some of the customers are using this, but most of them will be moving towards this version, which is the latest version. There is a significant reasons for that also, because the 2012 version was a Windows based application, and this is a cloud based application. So just to put it simply, if you're downloading a software, so if you're joining this meeting, I think you have downloaded the go to software in your laptop, if you have downloaded, right? So it is exactly like that. So if you have to set up a server, you have to set up, first you have to set up your IT team, they have to manage the server, the configuration, everything. Then you have to download that software from Microsoft portal, and it will be downloaded in your that local machine, and then you can install it, run through that command prompt and everything, install that, and then start using it, just like how we have installed any of our softwares in our laptop. This is exactly like what we call as Windows based application, this version, this Dynamics 2012 and 2009 both. And that is why the problem comes in that managing the configuration, architecture, those things becomes very difficult, because you have to spend money, you have to spend your resources on managing your IT operations of all the people, everything, because that doesn't come cheap, right? So that was a big challenge. I mean, we have faced a lot of clients that are there, which where they wanted to scale up. Maybe when they started their Dynamics 2012 journey, it was 100 users, and over down the line they have grown to maybe 800 users, and the system was failing, that because the capability scale was not up to the mark. So those were a lot of challenges in that. And with cloud, we have actually, I mean, the basic concept of cloud, right? So it is all, if it is a private public cloud, so it is all distributed, and you do not have a headache of managing your IT operations on any of those I mean, scalability part, because auto scaling, everything happens automatically. Microsoft is managing all the RAM, memories, everything. So you just need to tell from LCS that okay, this is this many users we are adding up maybe in this year, and Microsoft automatically, by default, they will be providing you all the necessary hardwares for that. Okay, so just two things in Dynamics 365 operations, we have two ways of implementing. First is on cloud, where 95% of the customers are going, because that is more stress free. I mean, there is no stress in that. You don't need to manage anything, right? And the second part is what we call as on-premise implementation. So on-premise means there are still customers or clients who needs the data at their own servers or their own locality. Because when you go to a cloud implementation, the data, you just select a region of the data center. If Microsoft is saying, okay, I am allocating you a data center of west of India, and it can be anywhere between Gujarat, it can be anywhere in between Mumbai, everywhere, right? So you don't know the exact location. And as this is a cloud concept, so wherever Microsoft wants, they can move the database to another location. But if there are customers who do not want that, who need their data to be present at their own premises, so they need to go for that on-premise implementation. Okay, so both options are there. I'll talk about that later, but mostly 95% of the customers, they go for cloud implementation. On premise very few, but still there are cases happening. Okay, so this is from the scalability part. Yeah, integration, mostly in the older version, this AIF and DIXF is still there. So DIXF is nothing but our data import export framework management. So that part is still there. And right now, as the development environment actually has changed to Visual Studio platform. Previously, it was what we call as Morphix environment. So you can, I mean, whatever the application you are installing in your laptop, it provided you a development environment. But right now what we have is a Visual Studio development environment, and in that environment itself you can go and you can go and work. Okay, so that environment is a Visual Studio part. The coding language is not C sharp, if you are thinking on that part. So Dynamics 365 is a separate coding language which is called X++, which is exactly similar to any object oriented programming. If you know C++, that works. If you know SQL, that also works. If you know Java, then also you can work. So all the basic concept, syntaxes, everything, I would say 90% of the remains same. So you don't need to have a separate course on the how to write X++ code. Okay, so if you know any object oriented programming, that works. So coming back to the other integration, so we have this objs, and this all these integrations have now come easily, because previously what used to happen, when you have to create a web service or we need to connect to a different website, right? That is a concept of integration. Then we need to write a different C sharp I mean, console, and then that need to be brought into your project, and those things were there. Right now it's everything is on the Visual Studio, so you can just simply create a Visual Studio project of .NET and just write all those code and just simply go and connect to their Dynamics 365 project. So that is a bit easy right now. From the reporting part, most of the reports that we learn on Dynamics 365 is SSRS reporting, and that is still there, because most of the your reports related to your output documents, right, which you are actually sending out from your company to the external customers or external vendors related to your purchase orders, sales orders, those are all comes in the SSRS format. That will learn, and that format is still there, because that format was actually initialized from 2012, and the same format or the same framework is still being used. And also the Power BI is there, but Power BI is not free with Dynamics 365. Most of them has the wrong concept. You have to buy a separate license or all these things for Power BI. Okay, and we can have small reports out of it, but most of the reports still happens from the SSRS. And reporting capabilities related to inquiry reports, those things are from Dynamics native capabilities. And right now, as I said, mobile development is there. Mostly the Power Apps is actually used for creating small applications. And I haven't used, I mean, most of the customers using Power Apps, but for like handling small running small businesses or small applications, maybe a purchase or approval process, you can create a small application and you can just publish it for few of the users. So those mobile capabilities is still there. Previous versions are also there, but right now this capability is much more. Coming to the functional side, how it has been evolved. So mostly organization modeling, finances, all these things keep remain same. Okay, no changes in that. So your this dynamic dimension functionality, your collection management, all those functionalities whichever was there right now is there. Previously what change I have seen is that in the older version the models were like quite I'd say maybe right now in this version Dynamics 365, Microsoft has broken down the modules to smaller modules, and they have also introduced few of the new modules related to asset management, related to expenses, all these different modules. Some functionality was there previously in some ways, but right now they have expanded it more and created different modules out of it. Okay, and the workflow engine and the security, all these parts still remain same, because this security is an important thing that we learn also. But this role, duty, privileges, all this compliance part is also, I'd say, exactly same it was with the older version, which is the AX 2012 version. And the organizational modeling and the finances, all these things remain same. Okay, so this is on a large scale overview how the product has been evolved. So right now we'll be going to the cloud architecture, I would say, how the architecture is actually is, and the basic important things on the courses. So this will be the next two slides, but I hope this is clear that how we have actually evolved from the different versions of dynamics, I mean dynamics life cycle, I would say, from X 2009 to 2012 to Dynamics 365. And whenever you are starting your career as a fresher or as experience which is switching their career to Dynamics 365, I mean, you rest assured. I mean, 95% of you will be working for Dynamics 365. If you're very, I mean, if you're in a client or if you're in a project which still uses the Dynamics X 2012 version, the coding language, everything remains same. You don't need to worry on that. Just that look and feel, everything will be different, because our course will be on this part only, the finance and operations part. But if you still, maybe some of you are still maybe tacway project of this older version, just be assured that Microsoft is also, I mean, closing the support for these versions by 2024 or 5. So whoever is the client, they just need to move on to the latest version. They do not have any other option for it. Okay, so eventually we will also work on this version, but most of the new projects, I mean all the new projects, are currently having this version, which is finance and operations. Okay, now coming back to the architecture, so this is the important thing. So if an architecture, so uh, okay, let me just start. I mean, if you know the cloud concept, so there are a few concepts in cloud, right? You know that if it is a SaaS application, if it is an PaaS application, so SaaS is nothing but software as a service, right? How you are buying the cloud. Then you have a platform as a service. The way Dynamics 365 is built into that, you are just going to Microsoft, you are telling them, okay, I need a subscription for 50 users, and I am paying you this money, and there is a recurring cost every year. If you can think of this as SaaS part, like you are buying the software as a service, but that is actually not true. It is a PaaS application. So it is, you are actually getting the platform as a service. So that Microsoft platform you're getting, and on top of it you can build a lot of things. So that is basically is a platform as a service. And how it works, so let's assume you have, your company also uses Microsoft Office, so your email and everything is into Microsoft Office. So your Office Outlook you are using for emails. Right now they want to implement Dynamics 365. So previously what used to happen, you have a Windows Server Active Directory. In that directory you are maintaining all your users. So whoever you are giving your licenses, whoever is or any other directories if you have. So if you are buying this license, so right now Microsoft will not tell you that okay, you are buying Dynamics 365, you just need to again create a new account. That doesn't happen now, because there's a single sign-on process which works on. And let me explain how this works. So as you have those Windows Server Active Directory, all those users, all those I mean all those persons, whoever is in your organization, you just need to move into what we call as AAD, or Microsoft Azure Active Directory, this part, right? So if you are implementing a cloud Dynamics 365, or if you are implementing on premise, for both of the cases your directory should be in the Azure, Microsoft Azure Active Directory. Okay, so all those things we need to move on to Azure. Then once that is done, then from Azure you can just open up that Office 365 admin portal, and you can just put the correct accesses to all of them. right? So if you have maybe 500 users in your company, and maybe 10 of them will have some maybe admin access, some managerial access, clerical access, right? Those accesses you need to give from this Office 365 admin portal, which is this part. Once that is done, then their login credentials, everything is there, it is created. Or if you are using the same one, then also it is fine. And then you have one single app, I mean one single user ID and password. It will be what we call as created on microsoft.com. So your user id maybe user1 at the rate maybe your company name dot on microsoft.com. So that will be the user id password which is created, and that user id password is actually will be used for logging to different portals. So the by portal I mean it will be essential, or it will be useful by logging into your finance and operations app. So today if you're using the ERP as a normal user, you can go and use that login to finance and operations. If you're an IT admin, you need to have an access to a portal called Lifecycle Services, or LCS, which is one of the most important thing, which we'll explain later in the course. But this LCS is actually important for managing all your managing all your environments. So your development environment, production, test environment, all these environments will be managed from LCS, and that needs to be taken care by someone. And most of the cases, the project managers or the IT admins, they are in charge of LCS. Your environment updates, everything happens from LCS, and you need to have a good understanding on the LCS. Okay, so but as a regular user, definitely you will not have an access to LCS. But whoever is the IT admin or whoever is managing the project, they will have an access for LCS. And then you have the, if you are using the VSTS, or what you call as DevOps connection nowadays, so the so that connection also you can go and log in through your same single credential. So what happens, so from Windows Active Server Active Directory, you are just creating one credential that on microsoft.com, and that is being used to log into different applications. So one is LCS, then you have DevOps, then you have finance and operations. So tomorrow down the line, after 2 years, if your company wants to implement CRM also, then also you can go and you can just simply install the CRM, and the same link or the same credentials will be used for having the log into the CRM application. Okay, so this is a basic architecture. The server architecture and all these things we'll discuss once we start the course. But this is an F1 architecture which we are will be discussing more, and will be, I mean, this application, the finance operations, definitely we are going to learn. Then you have the LCS, then DevOps, everything is here. Okay. Coming back to the advantages, I think we already know that it's a .NET development. We have the LCS, Power App, mobile, customer, all these different advantages are there, right? I mean, I can go on detail onto everything, but at the start of the course, I don't want to just bombard with all this information. This will not make much sense, because I just want to plan my course in a way that if you just starting from the scratch, you will also able to learn. Okay, so that I can just go on maybe say so many things on the multiple integrations or mobile accesses. But right now I don't feel that we just need to give you so many information. Just start from the scratch so that we can build on top of it, and then we can go and learn more on it later. Okay. Now what's new, yeah. So this as a development part, so this overlaying extension concept, layer architecture, packages, data individuals, all these things are actually we are going to learn on a detailed basis. Because just to give an understanding, so in my all my batches I have students right from whoever are students, whoever is a working professional, whoever also in a managerial position like 14 15 years experience, and also have like private batches where we have students from maybe from Visualpath, maybe whoever is working in a different country, but they have like 20 years of experience, but they just want to learn on this product. So the course is designed in a way so that it caters to everyone, right? And in that part, when we are discussing different concepts, we just need to present in a way that you just start learning from the very basic part. And all of you, whoever, I mean, when you are learning this new technology, you should be in a position that you can place yourself at least with the basic knowledge of technical. Because in the technical course content you can see a lot of different things are written. But I take interviews, I mean, at least, I mean, 30 interviews in a month, every month. Okay. And I know how the candidates are being asked questions. because we expect few things from a level 1 candidate, whoever has maybe 1 or 2 years of experience or fresher. Similarly, whoever has 5 years of experience, I'd expect some kind of knowledge, and whoever has more than 8 or 10 years of experience, I'd expect a different set of knowledge from them. So as an example, if I say that if you're a fresher, you do not know anything about SSIS reporting or integrations and all these things. You just know about what is the basic architecture, or you know about the tables, data structure concept, and the overlaying extension concept. Mostly that is sufficient, because that is the starting point of any development journey. Okay, so if you are good at it, then you are through. If you have a 5 years experience, I would expect you know at least SSRS reporting, at least you have worked on few of the different web services, some web services maybe, and other different workflows and all those things. So it's a way up, way a few steps above your knowledge what you have as a 1 or 2 experience. And similarly, if you have 18 years experience, and I mean, I was taking one interview few days back, and that guy has a 11 years of experience, and he did not work in any of the websites or integration till now. That happens. I mean, that is a common practice. If you are not in a project which you haven't got any opportunities in work in a web service or integration, but you should have that I mean, that urge or just desire to just at least get accustomed to the basics of web services, how integration works, what is the different workflows in that. So that I would expect from a 8 or 10 years of work experience guy. Maybe you haven't worked on, but you should know at least the basic. So these kind of different steps of knowledge you should have, and we have designed the course in a way that at least you should start from the basic. You should learn the basic concepts like your how the structure of the layer architecture happens, in the overlaying extension concept, then mostly we into your data types, then the tables, and then moving on to your forms, and then we go into the writing the code part, right? And then we'll learn how to write the code, how to do a customization, and then moving on to the advanced topics related to your workflows, SSRS reporting, integrations, and data entities, security, all this part. So that if you are stuck at any point, you know where to look for. So from where we have started, where the course is going into. So I hope this is clear. So this is the basic concept of how we have designed the course, and we will be covering the course mostly in a month, right? So maybe 25 classes, or maybe close to that, or maybe some more than that. Along with the course, we will be needing your email IDs, or definitely, because I keep on sending practice exercises, and those practice exercises I think I send because most of the trainers they do not, but I send because that is kind of a starting block for your development journey, so that when you are trying to practice something, you have a reference point that how the problems are designed. And I also send some of the different exercises related to live project examples and everything. So we'll discuss all of them in the course. And coming back to the timeline which I've already said, and the course timings and everything we'll discuss later. Timings with the Visualpath admin, but just drop your email IDs and phone numbers to the Visualpath admin so that we can contact you. And once you start the course, whoever has finalized in the course, maybe 10-15 of you, whoever is joining the course, then we'll be creating a private groups, and then we'll be sharing the information in that. Okay, so having said that, let me stop the share, and whatever questions you have, you can go on